Hi, and welcome to Gurlfriendz. I'm Carrie Fitzsimmons.
And I'm Lacey Wilson.
And we're glad that you joined us tonight. We have a special guest with us, Jona Pritt, who's going to talk to you in just a little bit about car insurance. She's an insurance agent for Liberty Mutual, and we're excited to have her.
I'm excited to get some questions, and hopefully the callers will call in and ask any questions they have about life insurance, car insurance, all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we talked when we first came in, and you said that you had, on your way over here, you had a few.
What the adventure! We were asking people earlier what their pet peeves were, with driving, and I felt like I was on some sort of secret obstacle course on the way over here tonight. But I had one driver who was driving like 10 miles under the speed limit, and then I got into Rossville by the post office, and this guy, I guess, just got mad at the people in front of them. I thought he had an accident. I thought he rear-ended them because he got out of his car. You don't do that. You don't get out of your car. And he was like wailing his arms.
Why did he get out of his car?
Well, he was giving some obscene gestures at the same time too, so it was interesting. When we get to the station, I'll be okay. So
and then with the rain today, people were kind of driving crazy too.
It is rain, and when the time changes, for whatever reason, it makes people go crazy when it comes to driving. It's the same concept.
I know.
So.
I'm not looking forward to the time change, but
no.
But anyway,
I
know on my way over here, I was trying to pass this guy, and actually just decided to stay over in that lane since I was about to turn, because I come down Highway 2.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a car that had kind of like swerved over, and so I was just like, watch your lane, buddy.
I think they forget there's a blind spot there. Nobody wants to actually turn their head and look. They just want to look in their mirrors, and you can't always see.
And one of my pet peeves, and I guess we'll get to those comments in just a little bit, is that when it's raining, please turn your lights on.
I know. Well, and most cars have running lights where they're just running during the day anyway, or when it's kind of dark, they just automatically come on. But yeah, I mean, turn on your lights, especially if it's foggy. You just anyway. It
I don't
never
think
ceases
people
to amaze me.
think sometimes.
No, they really don't.
They got a lot on their mind, I guess, but be safe.
I've actually been getting up a little bit earlier, and I don't know if you kind of get used to your daily routine and your driving pattern, but then you have to go in maybe an hour early to work. It completely changes. Traffic's heavier a lot of times.
School zones.
It is. It's crazy. So, but I've been doing that. Medical Society mini internship.
Tell us about that.
It's actually, if you're interested in healthcare at all, the Chattanooga Medical Society has a mini internship where they actually partner local business leaders with some of the area's top physicians, and you get to follow these doctors around. Sometimes through surgeries, through doctor's appointments and everything. So it's a very fascinating program. They offer it to community leaders, and they even have, I didn't realize this, but a program for some of the high school students, the juniors and seniors. So I didn't know of anything like that when we were in high school, but it was very interesting, and it gives you a whole new appreciation for doctors and what they have to go through, and also it helps you to see it differently through the patient's eyes as well.
So did you sit in on any surgeries?
I didn't, but now that I've gone through the class and the training, I can go back next week if I wanted to, if I can work it into my schedule.
Do you know what kind it would be?
They have all types. There's orthopedic surgeries, there's cardiovascular.
That would be interesting.
It just depends. So, and of course, working at blood assurance, I was obviously interested in something where, there was blood transfusion or something like that. So, anyway, it's just interesting.
So, anybody can go through this program?
If you contact the Chattanooga Medical Society, there's a screening process, and, and they have... they only have so many candidates, but they actually have more this year than they've ever had. So I just thought that was, I don't know, I've always been interested in the medical field, especially in my line of work, working at blood assurance. It helps me to better understand, I guess, what I need to do. So
that does help. Helps you promote it more, I guess, promote the need. Okay, well, we were talking about some headlines in the news, and there's an Olive Garden in Alabama, and I think it was Oxford.
Yeah, you told me about this, and they were actually refusing to fly the American flag.
Well, it was a Kiwanis meeting that had set up in the Olive Garden, and the Olive Garden, for some reason, told them they wouldn't allow the American flag.
And a lot of these, not companies, but restaurants will have, group rooms where you can have large group meetings.
Right.
So I guess they were trying to have their meeting there, and they were told to remove it, I guess.
Yeah. It said, we've had some questions about whether or not guests can bring the American flag into our restaurants, and we are very sorry for any misunderstanding about this issue. We do not have a policy at Olive Garden concerning bringing the American flag into our restaurants. Some members of our team were misinformed about company policy by our corporate office. So it sounds like there was a miscommunication, but still, if you're in America,
it sounds like somebody said something at the local level and it traveled up the PR chain until they got to the top and said, we don't want this on our, on our hands. But
yeah, and as PR folks, we know that that's not good for Olive Garden because now a lot of the people are boycotting the chain, which I'm not saying you should. I don't really know the specifics. It could be just one big misunderstanding, but still kind of sad.
Hopefully a misunderstanding, but it's sad that we've gotten to that point in our country where you would actually think it would be okay to ban the American flag from a restaurant.
Right. So that's that. And then this next story.
This one was one of my favorites. It's actually, this is the time of year for corn mazes. We have the Rock City corn maze. There's several
which we've
around
never
the area.
been to.
No, and I'm hoping I don't end up like this family.
I know, now I'm wondering.
Yeah, this family
but Rock Cities, I don't think is this as large as this
huge,
one.
Right?
Yes, it was huge.
This was in Danvers, Massachusetts, and the family got lost in the corn maze and ended up having to call How do you even make that call to 911? Hello, what's your emergency?
I'm stuck in the middle of some corn.
Can you give me your exact coordinates?
No. And it was on the Today Show. They were showing a clip, and Matt Lauer was like, at that point, I think you just run through the corn. You don't follow the path.
Right.
But this was a mom, and I think the baby was 3 weeks old. I don't know, but the baby was very, very young, and so she was concerned with, I guess,
Okay, well, two things. One, if you have a smartphone, you should always have, maybe Google Maps, and you can actually track your coordinates and hopefully get out, or at least know which direction is north and south.
Or call whoever you're
with. Right, but that blows my mind. And also,
maybe you shouldn't have a 3-week baby out there.
No, and maybe you should have the non-emergency number. Most local sheriff's offices have a non-emergency number or dispatch, actually. So you're not calling 911 and tying up the people that are actually in trouble somewhere.
Yeah, so if you get lost in the corn maze, don't panic.
Don't panic.
What was that Halloween movie about the children of the
corn? The corn maze. I don't know. I hate scary movies, but
I do too.
I don't know. I'm wondering how tall does corn grow, because I'm pretty tall.
Well, look,
so
did you see that?
Maybe
the
I could
aerial,
see above
if you go
it,
Google family lost in corn maze, the aerial shot of it looks massive.
It does.
Yeah.
Out in the middle of nowhere, basically. So.
But now they're kind of being laughed at.
I like the intro. It says a family became corn-fused when they couldn't find their way out of a maze. So, needless to say, I don't think this family's going to live us down anytime soon. Probably not going to go back.
But at least they're united.
That is true. Well,
they're united.
I don't know. Maybe the corn maze is getting some good business off of this too.
Maybe
so.
It'd be very challenging.
Could have been a plant.
Have you been lost in a corn maze before?
I want to go, though.
I do too. I do too.
Maybe if anybody's watching out there who's been to one of the local corn mazes, give us some tips and tell us what to do so we can make sure we come out.
There's also one in Athens at Mayfield.
There? Okay.
In Athens, Tennessee.
Oh, is that the one, the Fight Like a Girl? A lot of them are doing this design now in the corn maze, and they take the aerial shots, and I think that's the one that has the Fight Like a Girl.
I'm not sure. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So glad that family is okay. And I guess a lot of people have heard too about Hank Williams Jr. this week.
Yes, that was very controversial. I think it actually was last week. Anyway, it's been dragging out.
It has been a couple weeks. Yeah.
So he made a comment, and if you're in the public eye and you have endorsements, it's probably never a good idea, no matter what you think of the president, to compare him
to Hitler.
Exactly. Probably not a good idea. So,
and I think what he was saying was that he dinner with Netanyahu to Hitler, having dinner with Hitler. And I think he was just trying to say it's the extreme
opposite, because it was Speaker of the House Boehner.
Yeah, playing golf. Was it golf?
Playing golf with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know who can schedule time to play golf in the mess that we're in right now. I think I'll take a golf trip. I don't know.
Maybe we should learn from that. Like, okay, well, we'll just go. I don't play golf though. I will drive the golf cart.
That could be fun. Maybe you should take that to the corn maze.
Maybe so.
So anyway, he made all of these comments, and of course his song is the intro for Monday Night Football, and they actually pulled it. ESPN did, which you can't blame them. But from what I understand, Hank Williams Jr. actually has the rights to the song.
Oh,
so
well,
nobody else could sing it.
He's written another song about this whole ordeal.
I think it was a good career boost for him. Somebody was saying, this is probably the most publicity he's gotten in, 20 some odd years. So I don't know.
One thing about it though, they played that clip without his song. It's still not the same.
No, it's not. Everybody's used to hearing that Monday Night Football thing, but from what I gathered, no one else could record it, or they couldn't play it basically and get somebody else to sing it, since it belongs to him. Oh. I don't know. So that will be interesting to see. I don't know if this is.
You think they'll make amends?
I don't know. This is.
Has he publicly apologized?
In a roundabout way. It's one of those celebrity apologies where a spokesperson says he's sorry, he was misinterpreted
on his behalf.
That's not what he meant. Yeah. So, and I think he has apologized too, but it was in a roundabout way. But I respect the office of the presidency. And
he probably could have used a different analogy. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you're comparing,
nobody wants to be compared to Hitler. Not anybody that I know of. So, have you been keeping up with any of the debates?
I wanted to watch the debate, the GOP debate. I believe it was last night, it was 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
To see how Herman Cain did, because this guy seems to be the only one who's making sense here lately.
I know, and he's had a very good track record from what I could tell.
He does. He seems to make sense, and I kept kind of waiting around for somebody to come out and kind of lead the pack and rise above and prove themselves to be the one candidate that everybody was going to go with, and we haven't really seen that yet. And then this guy, what he says makes sense. He's ran a business before
in Atlanta, I believe.
I think he's from Georgia, or okay, so he has ties to Georgia. But I don't know, his 999 plan. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting and it's refreshing to see somebody new, whether he gets the nomination or not.
Yeah, but, I think that Christie throwing his support behind Mitt Romney this week probably hurt Cain just a little bit.
It did, but Christie right before, just a few days before, when he said he wasn't going to run, he said he didn't immediately see anyone he could endorse. So what happens in 48 hours that you
some phone calls,
probably, I guess, some campaign funds, I don't know.
Yeah, so, something like that.
Anyway,
I don't
it's
know.
interesting. But if you've been keeping up with the debates, we'd love to hear what you think.
What is her name?
Oh, I know. Bachman, Michelle
Bachman.
Yeah.
I think she hurt herself with the comments she made about the Gardasil.
I'm telling you, first of all, I think Sarah Palin did a number on female politicians last year anyway for our track record, just in general. But
at first, I really liked Sarah Palin. I thought,
I did too.
Then I think with her leaving the office of the governor in the middle of her term
to do a reality.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of like, where are your priorities?
Well, and anytime you're a minority, people are going to be looking to kind of pick you apart and to fact check every single thing you're saying, and so you have to make sure you are absolutely on top of your game. And unfortunately, these women that have been throwing their name in the hat here lately haven't been. So,
and up until I think she made that comment, Bachman had a pretty good, people were supporting her, and then the media just tore her to shreds.
Well, and there was the whole, the headache debacle. I don't know if you remember it, but they were saying, can she really run?
Oh, because she had migraines?
Yeah, everybody gets migraines. So I thought that was a little played up too.
Do you think, since this is Gurlfriendz, do you think women who are running for office are more scrutinized than men?
I do, absolutely. Well, I mean, you don't hear stories about, any of the other candidates, health issues.
Well, I have heard about Kane because I think he had a serious stage of cancer.
Okay.
And now he's better. But people are wondering,
But see, even that, I mean, Dick Cheney had all sorts of health
I don't think
problems.
people should be,
And it didn't cause them to second guess their decisions in voting.
You can't discriminate against somebody because of their health history.
No, I think, I don't know, but I would love to see a serious female candidate for president.
Who I think would do a good job? Condoleezza Rice.
She would. I would vote for her. I really wish she had ran the last time, too.
I don't think she will. I think she's probably done. But
well, and they probably had, they were right in the middle of everything that was going on anyway, so it's like they were right underneath, the office of the president, and they were just hand in hand actively doing what a president would do anyway, so she probably said, well, this is
and she is
a lot to take
in. Like, if you look at her college records and everything, she is intelligent. She's one intelligent lady. I think she'd do.
She actually plays the piano.
Yeah, I think she'd do a great job. But it's my opinion.
Maybe one day we'll see.
Maybe one day. Well,
you should run.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think anybody would vote for me.
Start out locally.
We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk to Jona Pritt with Liberty Mutual.
With the crisp weather approaching, it's time to sit back and enjoy a nice bowl of warm soup and cornbread with sweet potato pie for dessert. There's only one place to go to get all three, the Melon Patch. Go visit Karen and the staff at the Melon Patch, located on Johnson Road in Chickamauga. Also, let the Melon Patch handle all of your catering needs and holiday parties this season. Call Karen at 706-375-7300 to hear about the options available to you. The Melon Patch, fresh food and friendly faces. Friday's special is catfish. Saturday is fried chicken and chicken casserole. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., Sunday, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., and they are closed on Wednesday. Go visit Karen down at the Melon Patch.
Busy adults with little or no previous college experience and no time to attend traditional classes can now take advantage of Bethel University's College Start program from the comfort of their own homes. All Bethel students receive an iPad to facilitate learning and utilize an online learning management system that is intuitive and user-friendly. The coursework is designed to allow students to focus on one class at a time for 5 weeks before moving on to the next class. Students can create their own schedule for logging in to complete the work. Those with no previous college experience who have a GED, a high school diploma, or fewer than 30 hours of coursework can expect to complete their degree online in about half the time of traditional programs. For more information about Bethel University's new online College Start program, call 1-877-4-BETHEL. The next College Start Online cohort starts October 29th. And Lacey, I think we have a giveaway. You just talked about the Melon Patch, and of course, Karen was on last week.
She did a
great job.
She did. She told us a little bit about the staff there and the good food and how they come up with the wonderful recipes. So we have a free gift certificate to the Melon Patch. It's a free meal and drink, and that is from the Melon Patch in Chickamauga. So we'll take, which caller you want to take?
Let's do caller number 2.
Caller number 2, you get a free meal and drink from the Melon Patch.
Oh, we have one.
We have caller number 1 already. That was fast.
Hi, caller.
Okay, I just wanted to call and say I was up at Erlanger today, and I saw someone that looked just like that lady on the set with this doctor making rounds from the University Surgical Group.
Oh, yeah, that probably was
That was
me.
probably her.
Oh, who could that have been?
I had a great time. It was so informative, and I highly encourage anybody who's interested in doing the internship to take advantage
Could
of
have
it.
passed for doctor.
Well, I don't know about that. They did give me the white coat to wear, so.
Tell you what, we just don't realize what they go through till we follow them around, right?
That is true. You know, and that's a very good point because there's so much paperwork and notation after every single patient. So I definitely have a newfound respect. You know, just because you're in the waiting room for 20 minutes, don't think they're sitting back there goofing off. They're definitely not.
And they really have to do that now because everybody holds them to account, and they should be, but it's almost to the ultimate. Well, I just had to brag on you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
That was another thing I learned, too, about the coding and keeping everybody accountable for the billing.
Hi, caller.
Hi, Lacey and Carrie.
Hey, I think I know who this is. Is this Jessica?
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is So Mama So. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on, Jessica.
And you won the Melon Patch gift certificate, by the way.
Jessica has been sewing. We mentioned her a couple weeks ago. She's been sewing some bird cloths and some cute little
They
things.
are so cute. We saw them at Show and Sell.
And she has a Facebook page too. So if you're looking for a good baby gift, check out So Mama, SEW, So Mama on Facebook.
And Jessica, you could post that to our page if you want to.
Do what now?
You can post the link to your Facebook page to ours so they can.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a Facebook page now, everybody.
Gurlfriendz with a U and a Z and a 265.
And also, I've been making clothes and pants and all other kinds of things
Really?
Oh, wow.
Are you making your Christmas gifts this year, some of them?
I've been making some of them.
Yeah? We're going to have a show about that not too long from now, so we might have to have you on for that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Well, thank you for watching. And thanks for your Facebook comment. I saw that.
And Jessica, you know where the station is, right?
I don't know.
Okay, it's not too far from Big Lots on Heron Street.
Okay.
So you'll have a free meal and drink from Karen down at the Melon Patch.
All right. Yay.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jessica.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay, we're going to bring on Jona now. Jona Pritt has been with Liberty Mutual for 19 years. She began her career in production in a production office in Texas, and then she moved into the customer service side of things and did that for a few years. Now she's in a sales role in Chattanooga, and she went back to school in 2004 to finish the education she started when she was young. She received her BS in Business Administration from Bryan College in 2009 and continued on to obtain her MBA in 2011. She's happily married to Kevin, right? Gotta remember Kevin. And between the two of us, she has 4 children, all grown with one still at home, and also a 3-year-old granddaughter who is as sweet as pie. She lives in East Ridge, and she spends her free time with family and enjoys reading. So welcome, Jona. Thank you for being on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so what made you want to get into insurance?
Believe it or not, it was by accident.
Really? Accident?
It really was. I had gone back to schools. I was doing retail for a while, and then they had a recruiter that was looking for somebody to do clerical work, and they're like, "Are you interested?" That's why I'm doing this, and it happened to be for an insurance company, temporary part-time work, and it was Liberty Mutual, and I've been there ever since. So.
Cool. So, some common questions that come up with people who are shopping for insurance or maybe trying to learn a little bit more about policies and whatnot is how it's broken down. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, depending on what line you're looking at, I mean, like auto insurance, we get a lot of people that call in and say, I want what's required by law, that's all I want, I just want to be legal. Not realizing the ramifications of, like in Georgia, the minimum limit is 25, 50, 25, and that's 25,000 in bodily injury per person, 50,000 per accident in bodily injury, and then 25,000 in property damage. Well, in Tennessee, that last number is 15. So I noticed a Lexus parked out in the parking lot. If somebody totals that Lexus, that $15,000 is not going to be enough to pay your damages. So it's just recommended they carry a little bit higher limit than that.
And you would personally recommend that too, right?
Yes, personally.
A lot of times people just think they have to have liability or whatever, but that can. We had a random accident in our house. A driver actually came off the road and hit our cars. I won't go into too much more detail, but it was not a pleasant experience at all. And and it was one of those things where it was just liability. But if you have 2 cars that have been totaled and property damage, I mean, it just...
Both your cars were totaled?
Both of my cars were totaled. We weren't even in the car.
Let me remember this.
It was in the driveway. In the driveway. Another pet peeve of mine, stay in your lane. Just stay in your lane.
Well, and that's another thing too. If they only had the 25,000 and you've got 2 cars, do you remember the back in March the Donut Palace, the car?
Oh yeah,
yes, because we thought it had closed because it was boarded up.
Oh, because of the property damage. I mean, that's just
last time that was one of our insureds that had that accident, and there was over $60,000 paid out.
Gosh.
So can you imagine if he had a state minimum limit? I mean, that would have come out of his pocket. They would have sued him to pay for those damages. So that's why we recommend a higher limit.
So paying a little bit extra each month
it's worth
can
it.
help you in the long run.
Because you never know.
Right.
You could be doing nothing.
Sleep in your bed. Yeah, which is what happened. But
how long ago was that?
that was last year. And shopping for 2 cars in the middle of summer in the South is not fun at all. So anyway, just pay that little bit extra.
Okay, so you do auto, home, and life.
Yes, ma'am.
So talk to us a little bit about home insurance, replacement value and market value.
That's a big question. People call and they'll when we're trying to, insurance companies want to insure for replacement value. And that's basically includes things like debris removal, contractors' fees, because we have to rebuild what was already there. And a lot of people they'll say, well, my house is not worth that much. Well, the market value is what you can sell it for, where the replacement, we're taking into consideration all those other things. And most people are pretty, receptive to the replacement value when they get to thinking about it, and they're good with that. But yeah, that's the difference.
How was, back in April when all the tornadoes hit, how was that day for you?
I was doing customer service then, and it was extremely emotional because you had the very first day we had a lot of callers that lost everything.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Hi. I want to say hi to Jona. I haven't ever met her, but to everybody out there, I have shopped, and I did years ago, shopped for car insurance, and Liberty Mutual is the best rates that I could find, and I want to say that they are fast responders on claims. I had towing. I went out of town and had to have my car towed. And so I filed my claim while I was there out of town, and when I got back in town 5 days later, my money was in my mailbox.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say Liberty Mutual is the greatest insurance for car and home and all the others around that I could find.
Well, thank you so much.
Enjoying the show, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for watching.
All
Happy
right,
customer.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That's great. So you were emotionally drained, I guess, after that day.
It was a rough day. The next day wasn't so bad because then it was people, like me included, my power was out for 3 days. So we lost everything in the refrigerator, and that was a lot of the calls that we got. But people were you watched on the news how the communities all came together. Well, it was the same way with that. They realized that there were people that lost everything, and they were very patient in getting their claims handled and that type of thing. So it went very smoothly. We were very happy with it.
That's great. So back to home. A lot of people have questions about things like trees, animals, specifically dogs. So can you talk to us a little bit about those subjects? Like if a tree falls in your yard, if it comes from your neighbors, whose responsibility is that?
Wherever the tree causes damage.
Okay.
That's whose company pays.
So if it's on the neighbor's property, but it falls on your house, then your homeowner's insurance is supposed to pick it up.
Right. Now, if you have a good neighbor, they might help you with your deductible, but that doesn't always take place. But it's wherever it causes damage.
Okay, because I've always heard it's where the root of the tree is. Basically.
I've heard that too. But if the tree's falling one way, then that's okay. Okay. So that's useful information to some people out there, I guess.
Yeah. There was actually a lady I know, and she was having a little bit of a dispute with a neighbor because there was a tree and it was very old, and but it was on kind of both of their properties. But the neighbor expected this lady to pay to have it cut down, and that's a very expensive process. So, but the lady I knew was fearful of not having it taken down because if it did fall, she didn't want to be held liable for it.
Yeah.
If the tree's alive, the insurance companies will pay the damages. But if it's a dead tree and the neighbor doesn't want to cut it down, we recommend that people send a certified letter that you've requested that they cut it down. That way, if it falls, you'll have some coverage.
So if it's a dead tree, it's kind of a whole nother ballgame. Okay.
Because it's personal responsibility. It's the owner's responsibility to maintain their property, which includes removing the dead trees.
So if it's a live tree, I guess it's almost considered an act of nature.
Right.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Hello. I just want to let everybody know how much I'm enjoying the program. We love when this program comes on. But I just wanted to ask Jona about a question that I had heard, because we actually did have trees that fell during the tornado. The insurance person that I spoke with told me that if you have documentation, let's say, for instance, which I don't know normal people who go around doing this, but if your neighbor has a tree and it's deteriorated, it's dead, there's no leaves on it, you can tell it's just like a skeleton there waiting to fall. If you take a picture of that and you make documentation, and then that person's tree falls onto your property, they are responsible. But would you be required to let them know that you're aware they have a dead tree and maybe talk to them first, or I don't know really how you would handle that, but I'm going to hang up so I can listen to your comment, but that's just really a question that I'm concerned about, because we actually do have that process going on even after we've gotten through with the tornadoes and took 5 weeks to move trees. We still have this one dead tree in our neighbor's yard, and I don't want to start a war, but I would like to know if I do have documentation and have pictures of the tree and it falls onto the property, if we will be okay by having the neighbors to pay for their fallen tree. Thank you so much.
That's a touchy situation, and a lot of times it depends on the company. I'm going by what I've been told from our claims department, is that you actually have to notify the neighbor in writing that you've requested for them to remove the tree. But I mean, that would be something that if it's not working with the local adjuster, then you could actually escalate that up to a supervisor or something to see if you can get a better answer for that, depending on the company that you're using.
We had another caller, but I guess they hung up, so we hope that you'll call back. But moving on a little bit from trees, and if you still have questions about trees or cars, feel free to call in, because we're not on any type of strict outline. But for those people who have dogs, if the dog is in the fence and, say someone tries to come pet the dog that's not a member of the household, is the property owner responsible if the dog bites the person?
Unfortunately, yes.
What if there's a beware of dog sign?
You hope that people will be responsible, but it's a suing world that we live in. And that's one reason why insurance companies ask, what type dogs do you have? That's the big reason, and there are usually limitations for the number of dogs that you can have for that very reason, for the biting. And if they have aggressive breeds, then they might write the aggressive breeds like the pit bulls, your German shepherds, huskies, those types. And sometimes, I know with Liberty, we may write those, but there's a dog affidavit that we have to get filled out. Has the dog been spayed or neutered? Do you live around children? Are there children in the household? And that type of thing. But unfortunately, if they took them to court and they proved them liable, then the insurance company would pay out.
That's another one of those crazy common sense things. I mean, obviously there's going to be some instance where, maybe there's a child that's around an aggressive dog that shouldn't be.
Right.
But for the most part, if you are on my property and my dog bites you, to me that is your fault. But that's
especially if your dog is in a fence or,
right, or leash.
I just would think that, yeah.
Well, if you think about it, look at the lawsuits that you've seen where people have broken into homes and fell and got hurt
and
sued the homeowners.
Or the coffee, the McDonald's coffee, fell in a lap.
And I think it goes back to a lack of personal responsibility in a society today as a whole. Like, nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves. it's your fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
So always be careful, protect yourself, and make sure you have all the appropriate.
Make sure you're covered and well documented. Yeah, but I agree. If it's your dog in your house, and sometimes little kids, their parents, not all parents, but some parents don't watch their kids as closely as they should. And little kids don't know, but they will tug on dogs' ears.
They go straight for the eyeballs. Yes,
I mean, it's not really the dog's going to respond.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a touchy subject for me because I'm such a dog lover. People should know how to act, but on the flip side, children. Kids don't always know too.
But maybe in a way they could teach their kids how to behave around dogs.
And I guess it always goes back to being a responsible pet owner and
honestly,
know what you're responsible for.
This is my personal opinion. I wouldn't want to have a pit bull around a little kid. They're you just don't know about. I mean, they say that you can train them and that they're not as bad a breed as people think they are. But especially those who have been abused, those dogs, I wouldn't want a dog like that around a little kid.
Yeah, there's both sides to it. I guess there's just. No matter what kind of dog it is, you have to be aware that you're liable for it if it wants to do something. So.
Yeah. Okay. Wood burning stoves. Talk to us a little bit about that. I know that
people still have those.
Well, that's what I
guess
wondering.
they could though.
They do. It's a question. It's a question.
It's a question you get asked regularly, right?
It's a question that we ask when we're writing the business. Is there a swimming pool or a wood burning stove? Okay. And it's mainly if they're not installed properly or by a licensed professional, then there's the risk of fire. And of course, that's a risk of having to pay out a claim. So that's the main reason we ask is if you have one, then has it been professionally installed? If so, then how often do you clean the chimney out? What do you burn in it? That type of thing.
Well, in the swimming pools, I'm assuming it has to be fenced in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
With a lock gate.
Oh, with a lock gate. Okay. Even if it was, say, a 6-foot privacy fence, there's still, I guess, has to be some kind of.
Well, they don't want kids wandering in because teenagers can be a little unruly at times and playing pranks, and they might go into a neighbor's yard swimming without permission.
So and then if something happens, then again it's your fault.
Right.
Wow.
So what about consolidating all of your, your home, your auto, your life insurance? We've always talked about ways to save money. Is that something that you recommend? It
is because most companies offer discounts for having all that together. And then while we're talking about the liability, one thing that people might want to think about is umbrella policies. It's $1 million in coverage. It protects you on your home and your auto insurance. And then if you have a costly claim, you've got that $1 million cushion on top of that. You hope you never use it, but it's there if you need it.
Okay, we asked a question today, and for all our viewers out there, you can call in and answer this too. We asked a question today about what people's pet peeves are as they're driving. We shared a little bit about our experience.
We shared quite a few.
But we've had one viewer, and maybe he's
Matt
watching out there.
has a lot of pet peeves.
Maybe Matt's watching out there, and so we're going to share a little bit of his. Okay, he says a dirty car. And then people who eat spaghetti while driving. He said he actually saw that happen. People who text while driving, which happens a lot. People who don't use a blinker. People who put makeup on while they drive. People who don't pull over for emergency vehicles.
How many claims are you getting for distracted driving? I mean, they're texting or they're just not paying attention to what they're doing.
Since I'm not on the claim side, I'm not sure, but I can tell you that texting and driving increases your risk of accident by 26%.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is.
And didn't they compare that to someone being under the influence?
I think they did, but I'm not sure what the statistics were. But if you think about it, you're looking down, and all it takes is 2 seconds. 2 seconds to look away, and then somebody could just stop suddenly in front of you, and
then you hit them.
Well, and I swear to you, it's like left brain and right brain. When you're trying to read something, if you're, not that I do, but when you're trying to read something when you're going down the road, or even thinking of how to spell something, it's on a completely different side. And then when you're looking back up visually, I mean, it's like night and day. There's almost a delay there. It's not like you're looking at your radio and changing the station really quickly. It's
because if you're not only reading, but if you're responding, then you know you're taking the time to type.
Got that hand-eye coordination and then the hand and foot coordination over here. It's just too much, too much.
Well, they tend to slow down too. Even talking on the phone, it's like, okay, if I put this hand up, then the foot comes up, and they slow down.
Yeah, I get behind those people.
I know. It's crazy.
And one thing I got recently was just it's a cord. I have I think it's an AV outlet on my dash, and you can plug in like your iPod or whatever, but you can actually take the same cord and hook it up to your cell phone, and you don't even have to put it on speakerphone, but it uses the speakers in your car. So if you were calling me, I would hear you through the speakers. It's just like a hands-free set, but there's so many things out there you can do and still be a safe driver and have both hands on the wheels.
Yeah. So, you said that about texting and driving, and I guess it's been a couple years ago, maybe last year, Oprah did that big, sign this pledge, don't text and drive, and I think I watched that episode, and there were some really serious accidents out there that happened.
Well, and one thing with Liberty Mutual, too, on the website, if you go to libertymutual.com, and they'll have a distracted driving section, there's also a pledge on there for young drivers. And they can actually, with Liberty Mutual, they can get discounts for taking this pledge, and it's on things like that, texting and driving, and it's a contract that they're actually signing with their parents. They're agreeing not to do certain things and to drive safely and that type of thing, and it saves them money, saves the parents money on their insurance.
And if there are parents out there watching who have teens who are about to start driving, what advice would you give them?
That's a good one. Well, I can tell you that we bought a liability-only vehicle for our daughter the first year, and basically she stayed close to home until she got used to driving. We allowed her to drive to church, to school, to work. That was it. No other drivers in the car, because that's a distraction for teens, because they're going to have mishaps. They're just going to. And that would be my recommendation, is to buy them something that you don't care if it's going to get dented and dinged up, and keep them close to home until they get used to driving.
And one of the commercials, I think, too, the driver was putting their phone in the back seat so they wouldn't be distracted. So that's always a good sign, too.
Hi, caller. Go ahead.
Okay, we please talk about older people's insurance if it gets older and older. I mean, it gets higher and higher as you get older, or where's the cutoff place for people?
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
That's a good question.
I'm thinking she's asking about age.
Yes.
And usually, I know the cutoff is generally at 65, and that's when the discounts tend to unfortunately stop. And I know for drivers from 25 to 65, if they're driving their cars less than 7,500 miles a year, they can get a discount. Unfortunately, that's not the case for the older viewers. And not that, I don't want to say that it's being discriminatory, but then the accidents tend to start happening for the older drivers again. And not everybody. There's a lot of very good older drivers out there, but then there are a lot out there that the reflex time is not as well, not as fast, and that type of thing. So that may be what the insurance companies are looking at.
So after 65, it tends to increase?
It can. They don't get as many discounts, unfortunately, after that age.
So, and you said there are discounts for people who drive fewer than a certain amount of miles each year? I would never qualify. That's interesting though, because I drive a lot for work, and I get, reimbursed mileage, but that's still mileage on my car and wear and tear, and obviously it would be, you couldn't do a lease, because most leases are less than 12,000 miles a year, I think.
Probably.
So.
Well, if you were on company time and had an accident, how would your insurance fare then?
If you're on company time, then your company, and this actually happened to me.
And you work for Liberty Mutual.
It actually did happen to me. Now, they didn't pay. It was in 2004, and we went to a focus group thing down in Gainesville. We had I don't know, it was one of the big offices. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but when I was coming back, I did hydroplane, and I flipped my car. Thankfully, I didn't get hurt, but my car There was not a single piece of it that was salvageable because it was raining. The rain came down in it. The motor didn't shut off. But had I caused damage to another vehicle, fortunately it was a single car accident, Liberty Mutual would have been responsible for that because I was on company time. I mean, my policy would have paid first because personally it would have been me. But since I was on company business, then Liberty Mutual would have had a policy to kind of back it up.
And is that across the board? I mean, any employer?
It should be. It honestly should be. If I'm not mistaken, if they took them to court, then yeah.
Okay.
The company's going to most likely be responsible. Now, they didn't fix my car because I didn't have collision or anything on it. I had paid it off a month before and then took it off.
Oh no, that's usually how it happens, right?
Usually, but yeah, but they were really good. I mean, they paid for this tow, you know, and the storage while it was down by Atlanta, and then they paid us mileage to go back and forth to settle things up and that kind of thing. So they helped us out with that.
That's good. Well, we're going to take a really quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back and ask Jona about life insurance. Girlfriends, a few weeks ago we did Zumba, and some of you did Zumba with us from the comfort of your own homes, but I want to tell you about this great opportunity for you to try it. On Saturday, October 29th from 6 to 9 p.m., Mary Wooten at Curves in Chickamauga will have a black light Zumba party. You're encouraged to buy your tickets now, wear white or something that glows in the dark, and go to Curves in Chickamauga. For Curves members, it costs $15, and for non-Curves members, it's $20. So give Mary a call at 375-1313. There will be healthy snacks and beverages provided, and 3 licensed Zumba instructors will be instructing their favorite dances. You get a good workout, and you can have some fun. And right now, we're going to give away a free Zumba pass. This does not count for the black light Zumba, but it does count for Zumba classes taught Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we'll do caller number 1. Caller number 1, you win a free Zumba pass.
Okay, and we're back. Jona, we were talking a little bit about life insurance. Would you explain? Do you think we have our first caller?
I think we do. Hi, caller.
Hi.
Hi, you just won a free Zumba pass.
Great.
What's your name?
Geneva Bruce.
Geneva Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know where the station is?
Yes.
Okay, and do you know where Curves in Chickamauga is? Right beside the melon patch?
Yes.
Okay, it'll be waiting on you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Okay, we've got a little bit of time to talk about life insurance. Tell us about term versus whole life insurance and kind of explain the difference.
That's a good question, and it's a big question. And the easiest way I know how to explain it is term is like renting an apartment, and whole life is like purchasing a home. When you rent an apartment, you sign a lease, and your rent stays the same for the duration of that lease. But when your lease is up, either your rent goes up or you move out, so you don't really have it anymore. To where when you're buying a house, you pay the same premium or the same house payment for a certain number of years, but then once you pay for it, the house is yours. So that's kind of the difference. The term insurance is generally a little less expensive, but the whole life, it can build cash value depending on what you purchase, and it will last forever as long as you make the payments.
So which one is more common, whole life insurance or?
It varies. Term life is a little more common for younger people because it's more affordable. Whole life people tend to like to do whole life policies for grandchildren. We get that for grandkids quite a bit. So yeah, but the term is more common.
And you're licensed in Tennessee and Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
So give them your phone number one more time if they want to contact you about a quote.
Okay, it's 423-894-1237. And then I have a cell number as well. It's 423-315-6239. Love to hear from you.
And you're located on Shallowford Road.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have any questions about insurance, we've got a couple more minutes.
We sure do.
Feel free to call in
We
and
sure
ask
do.
Jona.
And while we're waiting on phone calls, Jona, I just want to ask you, as a woman who has gotten her education and you have obviously, you know, you're very successful, what advice would you offer to other women?
Don't give up. If you want something, go get it. As a matter of fact, I think I put a post on Facebook the other day.
Aw, is that...
Hi.
Hi. Thanks for calling.
Sounds like our youngest girlfriend.
I know.
Is that Carly? That's my grandbaby. Oh, hi, Carly. That's my 3-year-old grandbaby.
She's the one that's sweet as pie,
Sweet
right?
as pie. Well, thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye.
But you just encourage women to not give up.
Right. I mean, there's a whole world out there for us, and it's not like it used to be. I mean, there's not really as much of a glass ceiling as like there used to be. There's just more opportunity, and just go to school, get your education, and go get what you want.
And Jona, you did it as a mom. You went back to school as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
You know.